Second time of asking. We're here for the 2025-26 MFC Ulster Schools Under 28 final, and all the important people are over there in the middle. The umpires, God love them, in their white coats that they'll need tonight. And the photographers are in there. I see Paul Swift there and Elaine Kelly, who recently got an award in Dublin, the Lulu Carroll Volunteer of the Year, sponsored by Doctor.ie. And Ronan McCarthy's in there. A happy birthday to him for yesterday. 39 again. And the referee, Leo Dugan, getting ready to take charge of this game and calling over the captains for the toss, and in front of the Ulster ladies sign there. And the game has been broadcast on the televisions over in the clubhouse here at the Dub Arena. And of course to all of you who we welcome to the Dub Arena in Belfast for this historic game. Captains there, as you see on the left, number 8 is Isa McCarran from the Carrie Duff Club, captaining Our Lady and St Pat's Knock, who are in the final for the very first time. And the other captain is Leah Stewart from Moneyglass, who played in the All-Ireland Senior Club final against Kilkerran Clonberne just about 6-7 weeks ago, and scored a goal in that game as well. And here she is captaining her school, St Mary's Magherafelt, in this final today. So two young ladies who have gained a lot of distinction over the last year or two in their respective careers. Isa was actually player of the match in the Ulster Minor Club final when Carrie Duff won their third in a row, and I'm pretty sure she was player of the match in the year before. In fact, the reason I'm pretty sure is because I picked it. So she's won it 2 years in a row, and as I say, Leah scored in the All-Ireland final, scored in the Ulster final as well, and the Ulster semi-final, and she is the leader of her team here tonight. So they're all waiting to take the photographs when they turn red and the referee is finished, and now they're sorting all of that out, but the Ulster banner's over the other side, so they'll have to move that one round. Anyway, the rain is coming down here, even though, as I say, at least the game is going ahead, but we do have rain, so it's going to be slippy and a little bit difficult for the players. But the crowd all over there in the stand on the far side, it's a great setting here for the game. The pitch, obviously, at this time of year has taken a bit of a battering, and there's not too much grass around the middle, as you can maybe see there. Bit of more grass around the edges, but the players have all been warming up there, and as you see the way Leah scoops that ball up there, she's no bother at all, so should be okay. And we are good to go after the game was postponed last week, so really looking forward to this game. A couple of very important things to tell you. One is that this game has been played under the old rules, or rather it's not been played with the new rules, or new additions as they're called. That's because the competition started way back last year. In fact, Knock haven't had a game since their semi-final in November sometime, might even have been early November, I think. So they've just stuck with the old rules. So no solo and goal tonight, and no breaches, 3 up and all that kind of thing. Different rules. That's going to be kind of interesting to go back to that, isn't it? Maybe people don't want to go back, but they have to tonight for this game. And there's all the officials waiting to get their photograph taken. So I'll name them, or the ones that I know anyway. So Fionnuala Murphy is in there, one of the lines persons, and she's beside Leo Dugan there, and also Patricia Hackett McKenna. And the fourth official, as in standby referee, is Oliver McKenna. And we'll also be getting the anthem sung by Caitlin Rose Fay from the Ballygalga Club on the Ards Peninsula. Right, so maybe we'll go to the teams. That's maybe the best thing to do. So we'll pull out a little bit, and you'll see the crowd in the stand here in the Dub Arena as well, just as we go to the teams, starting with Our Lady and St Pat's Knock. They're Bannister's Catherine McGordy and Stephen Dias. Stephen, who's already had a successful year on New Year's Day. In fact, he was with the Drummond team that won the St Paul's Ulster Minor Club tournament. He'd be a brother of Kevin Dias. And Maeve Deary is in there as well, and Joe Shields, a couple of breeder people in there. But to the team, so Erin Boyle in goal. She's from St Bridget's, and staying with that club actually, Kiva Heffron at number 6, and 9 Lara McNichol. They're all from the St Bridget's club. Lara would be a daughter of Cathal McNichol from Derry, and a granddaughter of the late Seamus O'Hare, who would have been such a fantastic servant to Ulster schools over the years. So going through the team from the back then, Erin Boyle, she's actually one of the 3 MFC All-Stars out there in the 2 teams today. Another one is Issa McCarran. Number 2 is Helen McGeough, I'm not quite sure it is. Maybe someone can tell me on the live chat there on the YouTube. I'm going with Helen McGeough from Breda. Dara Cotter at 4 is Breda. 2 is Maria McLornan from Carryduff. Oh, we're getting the anthem now. Well, as you saw from the tricolour flag there in the middle, there's a strong breeze going from right to left. So whoever's playing with that in the first half will obviously have that advantage. On the live chat, we have already had one comment, and it was from the canteen, a little bit of support. And also I put one in there wishing a happy birthday to Cara McDermott. She's number 16 from the Breda Club for St Pat's Knock, so she's in the subs and it's her birthday today. So the rest of the team there from St Mary's Magherafelt. Now I didn't get through all of the Knock team. They sort of caught me by surprise here. They had the anthem playing at about 25 past, so we might be starting early here, but let's go through this team then. Let's see what we can give you. Emily Higgins from Desert Martin, Ailish McElroy, Ballymcguigan, Maeve O'Kane is Ballymcguigan, Darcy Conway is the Loop, Emma McVeigh is Ballinderry, Eve Shivers is Ballymcguigan, Sally Scullion is Cargan, as is Laura Scullion at 9. 8 is Aoife Rocks from Greenlock, 10 Eva Forbes from Ballinderry, 11 Leah Stewart, 12 is Gemma Shivers. She was the captain last year from Ballymcguigan. Her dad Seamus is the dairy manager. She's a cousin of Eve at number 6. 13 Aoife Doherty from Ballymcguigan, 14 Aoife O'Neill from Moneymore, and 15 Leah Loughran, the only Tyrone woman out there tonight, and she's from Kildress. She was a Tyrone minor last year, and indeed last year their goalkeeper was Kildress as well, Roisin McGurk, if you remember, a vice captain. So we didn't get giving you all of the Knock team. You did get to see it though, so let me pick out a few others. Hannah Casson is Carryduff, Niamh Napier is Carryduff, and Abigail Hanvey at number 10 is Carryduff. In fact, all down the right hand side. Evie McHugh at 13 is Carryduff. Grace Guest at 11 is Breda. Her brother will be Mark, who captained their team to their first ever down minor title. 14 is Rose Horrisk from Carryduff. Her dad would be Damien from Armagh, an All-Ireland winner. 15 is Holly Donnelly, and her dad's famous too, Aidan Donnelly from the St Paul's Club in Belfast, and they are both Breda now, and Aidan would have played for Antrim. 12 is Orla Hughes from Carryduff. So we're just about ready to start then, and Orla's mum, by the way, is the club secretary at Carryduff, and I'm sure they're all very proud of their daughters here tonight. So this is basically the McCrory Cup final for the girls, and it's great to be live streaming it here in this game. So it is St Mary's Magherafelt in the blue, playing from left to right against Our Lady and St Pat's Knock in the white, under the old rules, not the new rules, just to tell you that again. And here we go. Leo Dugan, the referee, gets us underway then, and you see the difficulty already. They're trying to grab the ball, and it's obviously a bit slippy, but Issa McCarran, the number 8 there, gets it and gives it forward, but St Mary's get it back, and there's a great atmosphere already here. The big crowd in the stand on the far side making a lot of noise and getting behind their teams. It is St Mary's on the first attack, playing into the breeze. The 2 number 8s clashing there, and they're having to come all the way back out again. As I say, we don't have the new rules, so we don't have the solo and goal, we don't have the 3 up, so you can do what you like that way. It's going to be a little bit strange for us, but maybe not for these girls. They maybe haven't been playing under that much. Leah Stewart now, the 2 number 11s clashing. You can already see how nippy Leah is there, but you can also see how difficult the conditions are being as well. But it is a free for St Mary's. St Mary's in the final last year, well beaten by Loretto Cavan. It was a very impressive Cavan team who nearly and maybe should have won the All-Ireland as well, with a lot of fabulous footballers. But the monopoly by Monaghan and Cavan has finally been broken this year, with teams from Magherafelt and Belfast in the final. And this is now Sally Scullion, an Antrim minor. She'd be a cousin of Maria and Sarah O'Neill from the Money Glass team that went all the way to the All-Ireland Senior Club final, so very good stock there. Magherafelt coming again, and they try to knit things together, and that is St. Pat's not getting plenty of players in and around to make it difficult, and Aoife Rocks forced to come back out again, and they're trying to go through the middle. That was Aoife O'Neill that time. A lot of Aoife's out there. Aoife from Moneymore would have been number 10 on the team last year, but now she's full forward. They only lost 5 girls from last year. They might get through for a goal chance. That was a great hand in there, and it was Dara Cotter, the Breda girl for St. Pat's Knock, who just put her right hand in there just as it looked like there was a one-on-one and her opponent might get in. She just broke the ball away. That's really good defending. Might see it again here quickly. Actually, yeah, there's the ball in, and there is the challenge. Ball now up the other side of the field, over to our left, down in this corner. And that number 15 is Holly Donnelly giving it out. And the referee has blown for over-carrying against the knock forward. So St. Mary's not quite dominating, but having most of the possession in the first few minutes of this game, doing most of the attacking, and are doing so again with Gemma Shivers. As I say, she was captain last year of the team. Quite a few Ballymaguigan girls out there. This one is Aoife Rocks from Greenlock, a dual star, a Derry minor. And as I say, no harm to Monaghan and Cavan, but it's good to see it going around a little bit. That's a good hand in by Issa McCarran. But has she fouled? She has. I didn't hear the whistle, but definitely a free for St. Mary's Magherafelt for Eve Shivers to take. As I say, a cousin of Gemma. They both were involved last year. They've only lost, as I say, 5 from that. So you'd imagine they'd come into this as favourites because of that. They were well beaten in the final last year, but they had a good win in the semi-final. And they have got all those players back, and maybe they will be inspired or propelled a little bit by the hurt from last year, and maybe use that experience. They're certainly been very calm at the minute, and as I say, you don't have to keep 3 up, and Knock are not keeping 3 up. They have 2 up, and then a big gap here. This is Grace Guest chasing, trying to keep out St. Mary's, but St. Mary's doing a lot of pressing and attacking, as I say, and there's a dangerous ball across. All that needed was a touch. That could have gone in. The threat definitely there from the Derry school. It was Aoife Rocks with the ball across, and whether it was a shot or a pass, it ended up with no score. Must have got a touch though, or rather a foul before that. I thought it was going out for a 45, but I see now it's a free. So the referee had given good advantage, and there is the first score of the game. Well taken, and that wasn't an easy one for Aoife Doherty from Ballymaguigan, because the breeze is coming across her there. It's a cold breeze, and there is a bit of rain in the air, and the ground a little bit soft, but she nailed that one perfectly for the first score. This is Erin Boyle. She gets great height. What a boot that is. Right out into the middle of the field. But St. Mary's scrapping for the loose ball, trying to get possession. And what's the referee given here? Maybe a hop. Might be the easiest solution, and it is indeed. But yeah, that's quite a weapon to have, that kick out from Erin Boyle, especially with the breeze. So 10 and 11. 10 is Eva Forbes, and they get it on the break, St. Mary's. They're just that bit sharper at the minute. This is Shivers. They are doing most of the pressing, and they're making Knock defend most of the time. And here comes Leah Stewart at pace, running at them. This is great play from her. This is trademark Leah Stewart that we've seen at senior club level, and she's still going. Fantastic work, and she got fouled in there as well, so she's drawn a free. Bit far out to expect it to go over the bar, but definitely an opportunity, and definitely Magherafelt on top in the opening stages here. And of course there will be an All-Ireland semi-final for the winners from this. It's broken down, but she's still going to get another chance, Gemma Shivers, but it's gone off the post. So they've come really close a couple of times. They've one score, haven't scored yet from play, but if a forward was in there, that could have easily ended up in the net, but Boyle clears her lines. So another quick look at it here to see exactly what happened. Looked like the attack had broken down, and it looked like it was going wide, but then, as I say, bounced down right in front of the goals. So 1-0, but could have been worse for Knock, and St Mary's coming again. A confident start by the school from Magherafelt, driving players coming off the shoulder, and that's well laid off. There's a goal chance here. Surely it is. It is. St Mary's, Magherafelt with a goal, but it's been disallowed. Over carrying, and the referee is being consistent on that, so no goal. But the threat again is very, very clear. I think it was 5. Was it 5? Emma McVeigh from Ballinderry. That would make sense. A future star this year, an under 16 Derry Camogie player as well, and she came driving there, and it's very noticeable that they are getting players coming off the shoulder all the time. And they are causing Knock problems, and they have had the ball in the net, and they've hit in the post and put one just wide. So it looks a matter of time, unless St Pat's Knock can get their game together. A new experience for them, of course, to be in this final on this big occasion, and they had to wait after the game was called off last Friday. Now, somebody's messaged me to say, are you not on live yet? We are. It's on YouTube. So maybe people are expecting it to be on Facebook, but we are definitely on YouTube, and all the links, well, the one link is there on all of the social media. That ball booted back to Leah Stewart, and maybe a little bit too much on that, because she's had to go back and scrap for it, and St Pat's Knock have actually got it, and they get it to Holly Donnelly, and there's a chance here to catch them by surprise. It's Grace Guest, number 11, and she's put it in. That could go in the net, and it has gone in, but the referee has already... Now what's he doing? No, he's allowing it. He's allowing it. It looked like he was going to stop it and bring it back for some reason, but on their first break, St Pat's Knock have a goal out of nothing, and it's Grace Guest, and that all came from the free that was just overhit a little bit, and as I say, in these conditions, very difficult for the players. And St Pat's Knock capitalised. Well, what a strange start to the game it has been. St Mary's, with all the play, had the ball in the net. 2 other chances as well. One hit the post for a point, and one that went across the goals, and just that 1 point from a free. And then St Pat's Knock get up the pitch with a little bit of good fortune, but they took the opportunity when it came along and got a goal. And they lead by 2. Well, I was just saying, I wonder would they settle a little bit and get their game, and now they have settled and they're pushing now. Maybe that'll give them a little bit of confidence to get into this game. Maybe the occasion was getting to them a little bit, but now they find themselves in a fortunate position to be 2 points up. I think that's fair to say on the balance of the game so far, but they'll take it. So 9 minutes gone in this MFC Ulster Ladies Under 20 A final. As I say, that's basically the McCrory Cup final for the girls. A short one there, and now it is Breda who seem to have players, or I was going to say Breda, there's a lot of Breda girls out there. St Pat's Knock, I should say, who are getting players on the ball. Number 13 there is Evie McHugh. She's carried off. She won't want me calling her Breda, although she does play camogie for Breda. Comes out now to Kiva Heffron. This is Hannah Casson. And Hannah getting her way through, but she's blown for overcarrying. So St Pat's Knock, 4 Breda, 8 carried off, and 3 St Bridget's in the starting 15. Carried off of actually 10 in the panel. Breda have 4 in the subs. So that's around this area, this part of the world. And they've found themselves 2 points to the good, and a little bit fortunate to have that, but they'll take it. But look at this, the run here, and I'm sure in the effects you can hear the cheer from the crowd as well, getting behind St Mary's Magherafelt. They won't want to lose 2 of these finals in a row. Here they come, and this is Shivers. I have to say, and if you're watching, just to let you know, it's difficult. It's cold, there's a breeze, it's wet, and it's been raining for a couple of hours, so it's difficult for the girls out there. But we've already seen some fine football, and they're putting everything into this. But it's St Mary's pushing all of the time now with Forbes, and she gets it into Doherty. But really good defending then this occasion by St Pat's Knock, and as I say that, the referee has halted the play and he has awarded a free in. You see it again here. Hand comes in, and I emphasise again that we're not playing with the new rules, the old rules here. So we haven't seen any solos and goes. Tap and go, if you want to call it that. And there's no breach, anything like that. Could this be another one? Is this the second point from a free? Or is that going to the left? It has gone to the left. Remains just a 1 point for St Mary's, despite all of their good work after 11.5 minutes. But I guess you can get that at schools level, and certainly on a big occasion like this. Erin Boyle again gives it socks and belts it out into the middle. But on the break, it's St Mary's once again winning it. They're doing really well on the break, and they get it to Leah Stewart, who's always waiting there to take it and run with it. And she does exactly that and gets it to Scullion. Scullion will give it back to Stewart. Very elusive and lively, but it just bounced out of her possession there. And St Pat's Knock very happy to get it back with Hannah Casson. And a tough challenge going in there from Scullion. So a free for St Pat's Knock as we look at the replay of the previous incident there when the ball, I think it might have been McCarron who got a boot in. So St Pat's Knock in their, I have to say, very nice white jerseys with Niamh Napier from Carryduff. Her sister Maeve is a down senior, gets it forward looking for Grace Guest, and Grace does really well. She got the goal a minute ago, goes for another one. Well, may as well get it in target. It worked the last time, but the angle not as tricky this time for the goalkeeper, and Emily Higgins does well. And St Mary's looking to break again. It's already noticeable, maybe looking off camera more so than what you're looking at, that the girls have already expended a lot of energy out there. This is going to be a tough night for them, and that may be a factor, but it's a good final so far. It's interesting, and it's gone one way and then the other, and you've seen that St Pat's Knock have certainly got an element of danger, and they've got through again here, and it could be a lot of goals, more goals and points. She goes for it, and on the rebound it's lashed to the top of the net by Rose Horrisk. Well, her dad is Damien, an All-Ireland winner with Armagh. He'd be happy with that, and maybe he'd say he couldn't finish like that, but certainly Rose has finished like that, and it's another goal for Our Lady and St Pat's Knock, and they lead by 5. 2 goals to 1 point, an unusual scoreline, but when they go forward they only get goals. They've got it back, have they? That was Donnelly nearly getting it back. St Mary's with their fullback Maeve O'Kane, and they'll be a little bit shell-shocked after all of their good work to be hit with a couple of goals pretty much on the break. So they'll be concerned about that. A little bit fortunate maybe for St Pat's Knock in both goals, to be honest, but they took them well. The first one was just an overhead back pass really, and the second one there, as you see, there was a deflection that fell into the arms very kindly of Rose Horrisk. But that's what happens in finals. You got to take your opportunities, and they've done that. So St Mary's really know they're in a game.
Just under 15 minutes, ladies. 14.5 played.
14.5 played, they shout from the sideline, and yeah, that's exactly what we make it. Nearly 1/4 of the game. This is Casson. She's an international basketball player, and certainly basketball skills have always been useful in Gaelic games. Knock with their tails up. Now this is Evie McHugh, and she was the girl who had the initial shot before the second goal there, and this is great confident play by Evie. She's still going, fabulous play, but I think that's gone to the left and wide, and they still remain without a point, but they won't mind. They've got the 2 goals. Sharon says, "Come on, girls," from everyone in the canteen, reminding us that this is an Ulster Schools final. This is Stewart again, the captain, trying to get her team going, weaving her way through St Pat's Knock from a deeper position, which means that St Pat's Knock haven't got as many players back, but now they're getting them back. McCarron's getting back there. Now there's a free if they need it here. He's given advantage to them. They're still trying to get through, and eventually St Mary's get it away, and he'd given the advantage, and then the advantage had lapsed, I take it, but St Mary's still have it. And there's another ball that the wind might carry again, a bit like it did for the first goal, but at least this time St Mary's have players back there. Now the rain is coming into our camera lens, as you can see, We'll clear it as we go on, or as we can, but we'll stay with this attack for St Mary's. We're in a media tower over here on the far side, but unfortunately the rain and the wind is just coming in this direction, making it a little bit difficult, but hope it's not ruining your viewing. St Pat's Knock managed to clear it, and their defence has certainly been very effective. Now, they had a few lucky escapes, but they remind me of the way Carryduff played in their Ulster minor club wins over the last 3 years. Very solid at the back, getting players back, and then they hit you on the break, and that's Guest, but she lost possession of the ball. That's happened quite a lot to players on both sides. That's a great hand in by Issa McCarron, and very cleverly just boots it along the ground as well, and the referee, well, he gave good advantage, but he's having to bring it back because there's a head injury from that collision. And let's just look at it again here. There's McCarron coming in, and the two players just collided there accidentally, and Leo Dugan, the referee, as he has to do, just held the play up there, and we have cleared our lens, but we might have to keep doing it. The injury there is to number 10, Eva Forbes. Yeah, so I mentioned the Ulster minor titles, and you know, Breda won 3 of them in about 4 years, I think it was, and then Carryduff came along and won the last 3 in a row. So that's 6 Ulster minor club titles in the last 10 years have come to Breda and Carryduff, neighbours on the County Down side of Belfast, and now you see a lot of them out there today, along with 3 St Bridget's girls on the starting lineup and another one in the subs from St Bridget's. They've 4. The fourth is Florence O'Brien, number 19. That's Casson. As they build again, and they're certainly building in confidence after those 2 goals. And tactically, they seem to have got the game under control. St Pat's Knock, as I say, very like the way I've seen Carryduff play under the old rules. Now, the new rules might make it completely different for them and for others, but I'm sure they will adapt. It's been won back again by St Pat's Knock. They've got plenty of players forward. They're not playing a breach here. We have to have 3 players up, but they actually have St Mary's. I'm just looking off camera. Is that the first point of the game? It is. First point of the game for St Pat's Knock. They go to 2-1 to a point, and it was good play. Number 10 is Hanvey, and then that is the girl who got the first goal, Grace Guest from Breda. As I say, her brother Mark captained Breda Minors to their first ever, surprisingly, Down Minor Championship success last year, so they ended up in the St Paul's tournament. Mark only got to play in the first game. That's Aoife Rocks winning a free for St Mary's Magherafelt, and it also has to be stated that St Mary's are playing in this first half into a very strong wind. That's probably the biggest factor. You saw it in the tricolour at the start for the anthem. Very strong, very difficult for them. Whereas Breda haven't had that many attacks, but they've taken their opportunities very well and got a couple of goals out of it. But St Mary's looking to stay in it here and maybe to grab a couple of scores, and they certainly could have done in the first 10 minutes or so. But since then it's been pretty even, and it's a 6-point lead. But here come St Mary's, and that's great driving play by Shivers. And a hand goes in there, I think it was from the fullback, Helen McGill, and the referee said that's a free. So let's look at it again here. And yeah, challenge goes in, and it's an illegal one, and it's a free in. Referee Leo Dugan. So a chance here for St Mary's to get only their second score of the game. Isn't that surprising? Exactly 20 minutes played. The first one was from a free, and this one, if it goes over, is from a free. But is it? It is. 2 goals and 1 to 2 points. But remember, that strong wind could level out in the second half, and it'll be St Mary's who will have the advantage in the second half. Boyle then with a kick out, and this time she goes short and gets it to Evie McHugh. And Evie, we saw her up the other end of the field, and she's a super player, and look at her, she's basically doing what Leah Stewart's doing the other way. Like, the rain is coming in, I have to say, pretty miserably into our faces and into our camera here, and you can imagine then how difficult it is for the players, but they are battling on regardless. That was Stewart who got in there, but in the end it was St Pat's Knock who got it, and it's a free for them. It's a miserable one. I hope you're watching in the heat and comfort somewhere. This is good play by Lara McNichol for St. Pat's Knock. That's brilliant play, really driving forward and taking on players, and that's what they need. We haven't seen too much of that for St. Pat's Knock, but that was great work by the girl from St. Bridget's. And this really is St. Bridget's territory where this actual pitch is. This is McHugh. McHugh, a fair distance out, but she has the breeze, and if that is accurate, it would go over, and it's just gone to the left and it's gone wide. So just to let you know then, Belfast made up of Breda, carried up St. Bridget's. I say Belfast, I mean Our Lady and St. Pat's Knock, which is Belfast, or just outside Belfast. And St. Mary's Magherafelt are made up of the likes of Ballymcguigan, Cargan and Antrim, Moneyglass in Antrim, Desert Martin, The Loop, Greenlock, Ballinderry, Moneymore, and one in the starting 15 from Tyrone, from the Kildress Wolf Tones Club. Pressure being applied again up the field by St. Pat's Knock, and another free for St. Mary's. That seems to have been the pattern pretty much in the game. But the two goals, obviously the huge moments so far. That's McCarran, read that really well and delivers it well as well, and that's a good ball, and the girls in white come again, and that just bounced out of her grasp there. It's obviously a slippery ball tonight, so we're seeing mistakes being made that wouldn't normally be made, but for a moment there was a chance. And indeed the first goal, if you remember, came from a mistake, the ball being overhit in the wind, just carrying it. So not a night for the purists, but the girls showing admirable qualities and getting stuck in there. That Shivers again going for it. The challenge came in from Niamh Napier, just forced her to go in a different direction, and Shivers does exactly that. Comes back now to Aoife O'Neill though, from the Moneymore Club. There's a free there if she wants it, and she is going to get it. And indeed, tenacious, organised, carried off like defending by St. Pat's Knock, and no surprise when you have that many carried off players out there, and it certainly has worked for them. So this is Aoife Doherty, one of the many from the Ballymcguigan Club. This is Laura Scullion from Cargan, Future Star 2025. This is Shivers. She's tried to do this all day long, to go through the middle. They haven't got a score yet from play. That's going to be another free. Maybe the frees are mounting up. I wonder if Leo is ticking. It looks like he might be. It certainly seems to be a free count that would be quite high on one side. Let's put it like that. I'm going to have to get something for my glasses here as well, because the rain is coming into us. We thought we'd be in a lovely media tower for this game tonight, but although we are, it's not protecting us from the elements entirely. Now that's gone to the left, and you know, that's, oh, it's not, it's stayed in play. I thought it was gone left, but the wind maybe brought it in, and that wind is playing havoc, because ordinarily she'd have put that straight over the bar. So really difficult playing this way. I have to stress that again. Now that ball, you see, it's carried again over the intended target, but it's well met by Scullion. Scullion, one of the players from the famous Cargan Club. In fact, in the subs, there's an Ayla McCann at number 20. Lots of McCanns around Cargan. I wonder, is she related to the likes of Tomas and Michael McCann and Paul McCann? Is that another free in? No, the referee says play on. No free there. Maybe she just slipped, and it was out in the pitch before, and it is a bit slippy, and there's been a lot of rain the last couple of hours as well. So very difficult. Okay, I've mentioned it a lot, but it is a major factor tonight. And St. Mary's just unable to really score from play at will, as they might do in the second half. He nearly got a break or two in the first 5 minutes, and it didn't happen. So just the 2 points on the board from frees. But if they stick in this game and keep pressing, which they've done for most of the game, you'd think they'll still be in a good position at half-time. And even at the minute, you would probably say that a 5-point deficit isn't too bad, considering the conditions, and we've 4.5 to go to half-time. But St. Pat's Knock aren't finished yet. They haven't got forward often, but when they have, they've got scores on the board. And those goals could turn out to be crucial. But it could be a backs-to-the-wall effort in the second half. But no better team for that from what I've seen in the first half. This is Napier. She's carried it forward very sensibly and just hands it to Lara McNichol, but then it breaks down and Leah Stewart has it back for St Mary's. Challenge comes in though, and it's another foul. And maybe it is the old rules where you're not allowed contact, whereas in a lot of the games we've seen in the National League, the referees are allowing quite a bit of contact. But St Mary's now have a player over, and now they're on the run looking to try and get their first score from play. They'll take a point, but they'd love a goal, I'm sure. But St Pat's not getting plenty of players back, and I feel I've said this a lot, they fouled again. So that's been the pattern of the game. St Mary's running at St Pat's Knock, pushing, winning frees, but not always getting the reward, as I say, partly because of the conditions. But could be a very different game in the second half. Now that is a dangerous one. They need to watch it, and it's dropped over the bar. 3 points for St Mary's, all from frees, and they inch a little bit closer. Erin Boyle has put 2 big ones out to the right, short one to the left. Where's she going this time? Another short one, and she gives it to her fullback Helen McGill. And Helen, they're trying to play it through the hands, and it's working for them. That's good play. That's Hannah Casson. These girls with plenty of experience from Ulster Club finals. They've won 3 in a row, Carrie Duff. And a lot of Carrie Duff girls out there. They are the majority club. They even appear again from that club. Her sisters have been involved over the last 3 years. And this is Evie McHugh again, another of the Carrie Duff contingent. And she gets a free as well. I feel like we've had a lot of frees. The game not flowing as it has been in the National League games that we've seen in the last few weeks under the new rules. A lot of stop-start. So we've gone back to what was there, and that's a super point. I think it was McHugh again. Evie McHugh, that's an excellent point. And it was Evie McHugh, and she used the breeze there and all her skills. That's a great score. And it's her first in a while, and makes it a 5-point game again. Now, where can the keeper go with this one? Playing into that strong breeze, and that's a good boot. She gets on it, but it's taken up by Abigail Hanvey. There's a chance here for Guest. Be my guest. She puts it over the bar. Grace gets 2 in a row for St Pat's Knock, and they take it out now to a 6-point game, and that was well played by Hanvey to send the ball over to her. So a nice little burst for them coming up to half-time, just over a minute to the break. Kick out goes to exactly the same spot, but on this occasion St Mary's win it. Now this girl has been terrific. She loves to run and drive with the ball. She's been really good. That is Emma McVeigh from Ballinderry. She's done her level best, but it's just been so hard to play attacking football and to get your moves together. Just checking on the YouTube as well that everything's going well on there, and indeed it appears to be. Big crowd on there, nearly 600 devices tuned in for the game. Sure, what else would you be doing on a Tuesday night, on a night like this? Keeping warm and watching a free live stream of the game, thanks to Ulster Ladies showcasing their under-20 A final, sponsored by MFC Sports. Evie McHugh going for another score. She's been terrific, and that's a lovely ball played through as well. And what a block! Oh my goodness, that was terrific. I'm not sure if it was Stewart or who it was over there. I don't think it was, but I'm just trying to give you the name to give them credit for that. And these conditions as well, which I've mentioned a lot, you just have to emphasize that. Look at the quality and the commitment out there. Absolutely terrific. Let's have another look at it there. It was McHugh's ball in, and it was a number 10. Maybe it was Stewart actually, and it was Hanvey who tried to get the shot away. These girls are really doing their schools and their families and their clubs proud tonight. 30 seconds in to added time at the end of the half then. Great entertainment. As I say, this is the McCrory Cup final for the girls, and it deserves this kind of stage. For many years it was just played and people didn't even really know it had been on, but it's great now to be able to live stream it. Well taken. And St Mary's get to half time 6 points in arrears, and yet they've probably had 60% of the possession at least. Actually, it's not half-time. I thought that was a half-time whistle. It is. It is now. And the big crowd show their appreciation for the efforts of the players. And they have done remarkably well. Trying not to say given the conditions, but I can't resist it. It's 2-3 to 3 after 31 minutes of this game so far. And it has been entertaining. Here is the goal by Guest against the run of play for St. Pat's Knock, and they got another one shortly afterwards, and this is McEwen. Watch the way it rebounds out. Lots of players back, and it just bounced so kindly. And Rose Horisk said thank you very much. So St. Mary's Magherafelt in the final for the second year in a row, trail by 6 to the team in the final for the first time ever. What's going to happen in the second half, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to pause, and me and Pata, the cameraman, are going inside to sit on the radiators. So we'll be back shortly. St Pat's not coming out for the second half, and St Mary's won't be too far behind them. The 2026 MFC Sports Ulster Under-20A final. Well, we went in at half time, and as you can see, it's still raining. I gave Patter some nice tissues there to try and clean his lens, but they're in demand. I needed another one for myself, and to put my coat up, my hood up as well. The girls trying to keep warm there, as you can see. That's a good idea. I'm too old. Me and Patter's too old to be doing that in his old knee. Definitely he'll not be able to do that. And some joker turned the radiators off when we went in there, so we had to go down and get a kettle, not to get a drink, but just to pour some hot water into a cup and put our hands around them. And now we've decided to come out here, even though the players aren't out. Better than sitting in there in the cold. We may as well stand out here in the cold. A few lines for you about this game, and a few comments that have come in on the YouTube, and some people are appreciating it, and some other people have a very good sense of humour. Somebody said their volume wasn't working for 5 minutes in the first half, and it was the best 5 minutes of the game so far. I'm taking that very, very personally. I'm so offended. I'm hurt. I'm not ready. I'm going to mention the management. I'm going to mention Conor McCauley, who's the manager of St Mary's Magherafelt, or one of them at least. Now, he lives in the Breda area, even though he manages Magherafelt. He's married into Carryduff, and in fact worked in St Pat's Knock. So manager of St Mary's Magherafelt, and he was at the Knock School in 2017 for a year, and that's why he knows Catherine McGordy, and he knows or knew Frankie Wilson. Those two, Catherine and Frankie, would have been the managers when St Pat's Knock got to the Under-20B final in 2018. And who did they play in that final? Magherafelt. So you can understand now why there's friendliness on the sideline. They all know each other extremely well. And Niamh Hughes, to mention her as well, along with Conor McCauley. She's from Coal Island, and of course Tyrone player. And Shannon Rasdale is there too. And to mention, well, I did mention the St Pat's Knock management already at the start. There's been a substitution at half-time. St Mary's Magherafelt have made a change at left corner forward. I haven't seen the number go in yet, but I will get that for you. And I did mention Frankie Wilson. His initials are on a St Pat's Knock jersey, FW. He was an irresistible force, full of enthusiasm, encouragement. And between him and Catherine, and before that Lisa McCluskey, they got ladies football going. And he would be so proud tonight to see this team in this final tonight. And his daughter Lisa played in 2024-2025, and she'll be tuning in tonight. Frankie, a legendary figure at St Paul's and in Antrim and in the school, and always with so much energy and enthusiasm when he would meet you, and he's just sadly missed by everybody. But he's definitely here in spirit tonight, and his initials are on the St Pat's Knock jerseys, and both sets of managers remember him and miss him, and really that says it all, doesn't it, about what sort of guy Frankie was. And as well as that, I have to mention these two schools and the work that they've done over the years. Both similar stories, you know. I mean, 10 years ago Magherafelt were competing in the C, whereas St Pat's Knock, well, in 2002 they didn't have any ladies football, and it's been built since then, and they were in the B final in 2018, and here they are now in the A final. So fantastic work all around. Leo Dugan gets us underway then for the second half, and the roar goes up from the big crowd here. Leah Stewart gets it, but Asa McCarran got a hand in, and she's trying now to stop Aoife Rocks, but St Mary's coming out at the start of the second half and going straight at them here. Andy had the breeze behind them, and a foul there means a free for St Mary's. So the pattern established the same as the first half. Lots of pressure from St Mary's, but tough defending, as you see in that challenge from St Pat's Knock. Let's have another look at it, but you mightn't want to look at it again. Here comes it in, bang. That was tough indeed. You can message me on the live chat on YouTube if you feel the need. We're up to over 400 devices there. And at the end, we will be staying on for the presentation. There's a sub I'm just spotting there for St Mary's, number 31. Magherafelt, yeah, you see her in the shot there, chatting to Emma McVeigh. 31 is Ella Rafferty, another from the Loop. And I think that's C17 on. down in the left corner. Yes, so there was 2 changes. They only heard 1 at half-time, but definitely 2 at least. 17 is in as well, and that is Eva Hurl from the Magherafelt club, Rossa Magherafelt, and she's a Northern Ireland soccer player, and they put her in left corner forward, and she's towering over her marker, and obviously they're thinking second half with a wind advantage, they'll get chances up there, and maybe she can put one in the net. That's the plan. They're 2 goals behind from those 2 goals in the first half when St. Pat's Knock certainly put it in the net. This is Shivers blowing for over-carrying. The referee very consistent on that and very disciplined defending, to be fair, by St. Pat's Knock, led by their captain Asa McCarran, who is an international 400 metres runner, and you'd know it from the way she plays in her game. She gets through such hard work all day long. Player of the match when carried up on the Ulster Minor Club final before Christmas, and did exactly the same a year earlier when her late mother Delia was by the side of the pitch that day memorably. So 2 up-and-coming forces in ladies football after all the Monaghan-Cavan domination for years, and that's not over yet. But on this showing tonight, areas like South Derry and Belfast coming to the fore, which is wonderful to see. Kiva Heffron doing well there, or rather no, that was the other number 6, that was Eve Shivers. This is Stewart, always looking to take it and run through, but McCarran is there following her every move and stops her. Stewart hasn't been able to get a run, but now she's letting the ball do the work. There's 2 against 1 here for St. Mary's. It's Shivers, Gemma, but been shepherded down into the corner by Maria McLornan, but she gets round her, and that's a ball into the girl I was telling you about, Hurl, but it spills and it's going to be brought back for a free in for St. Mary's Magherafelt. So lots of time for them, 17 minutes for them to eat into that lead. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. I'm just looking at the live chat and said Frankie was Lavjarag. I thought he was St. Paul's. I just have an image of him in the St. Paul's jersey. Maybe he played for both, but he says, yeah. So it's Garode says Frankie wasn't in St. Paul's. He was a Lavjarag man. Thank you for that. That's a good score. And it's their 4th, all from frees. So it's going to be a very interesting second half if they keep eating into the lead. That's it down to 5. But as you've seen, the girls in white will not be easily pushed aside. Now there's another substitution, and this time it is for Our Lady of St. Pat's Knock, and that looks like, well, I'm trying to read the board from here. It was a 6 on it. What's it? Number 2 has gone off. That's an interesting one considering what I told you a minute ago. Now there's 2 changes. Oh, well, no, I think they've got it right now. It looks like 16 for 2. Does that make sense? So that's Maria McLornan has gone off and replaced by 16, who would be Cara McDermott if it is her, the birthday girl today from Breda. And that is the game being held up again for another tough challenge going in. These girls are not holding back. And the reason I was telling you about that substitution being interesting, I was telling you a few minutes ago that the soccer player Eva Hurl went in and she was towering over the number 2. Maybe they spotted that and they've taken off the number 2 and maybe put on someone with a bit better match up. Maybe that was it, but certainly Maria McLornan was doing very well in the first half, but they were maybe concerned that maybe the height advantage maybe in the second half might tell, and maybe they've tried to match that up. That's my thinking anyway. It might be wrong. The management, of course, know better. Catherine McGordy, Stephen Dias, and Maeve Deary, Joe Shields in there as well. And by the way, St. Pat's Knock won the under-16A last year, so definitely an up-and-coming force. This isn't just a one-off with this team here tonight coming through, and that's of course what you want to see. Just a bit of a hold up here gives me a chance to give a shout out for the rest of the subs actually. Number 20 for St. Pat's Knock is Katrina Blaney. Her dad would be Kevin Blaney. 16 Cara McDermott, 17 Cara O'Donnell, also from Breda, 18 Ellen Farrell from Carryduff, 21 Olivia McCusker from Breda, and 22 Orla Mann, also from Breda. Magherafelt have 16, Eve McEldowney from Cregan, Kickham's. 17, Eva Hurley's in the play. 18, Mia McLarnon from Moneyglass. 19, Orla Devlin from the Loop. 20, Ayla McCann from Cargan. 22, Brona Bradley from the Loop, a Camogie All-Star. Eve Bradley from Cargan is 24. Leona Martin from Lavey is 25. Kiva McErlane from Moneyglass is 26. 27 is Eva Grant. 28 is Maggie O'Kane, and I'm just looking and just noticing that a St Mary's player, well, you're seeing that anyway, is looking like she's having to go off. Is it the number 5, McVeigh, possibly? They're maybe going to get that substitution done now. It looks like 18, is it? That would be Mia McLaren I was telling you about from Moneyglass. The rest of the subs: Grace O'Boyle from Cargan, 29. Ellen Cullen from Ballinderry, 30. 32 is Cleona Moore from Lavey, and Ella Rafferty, 31, is already in the play. I'll clear all that up as we get on. It's quite hard to see the white numbers in the light blue jerseys. Actually, it's easier when I look at the monitor that our camera is showing, that you're seeing, but to the naked eye, quite difficult to see, especially when they've got the long hair down the back. Anyway, let's get on with the play then after that little bit of a break. 7.5 minutes into the second half. The game really nicely poised. St Mary's Magherafelt playing with the conditions in the second half, but they've only scored once. Now, there hasn't been that much play, but they've the only score of the second half, and they've got it back to a 5-point game. So they will be pushing, but will St Pat's Knock have enough to hold them out and maybe get something at the other end? It's going to be hard for them to get scores. There wasn't a single score in the first half against the Breeze from play, just the 3 frees, so it's going to be tricky. So St Pat's Knock are going to really have to hold on to what they have, if you know what I mean. 8.5 minutes in now. And another stoppage over in that left corner, which will suit Knock. And just to let you know as well, the cup will be presented after the game by the incoming new president of Ulster LGFA, Eileen Jones-Hardy. It'll be the first cup she will be presenting as part of her tenure. She has been president before, but took over from Jerry Doherty recently. It's a free for St Pat's Knock here, and they're not going to put it in towards goal. That's a sensible ball out. I think it was Isa McCarran put that out to her clubmate Niamh Napier. Very intelligent, not just put it in there, keep possession for her team. And this is good driving play by Lara McNichol, and this is really sensible play, and it's good. Well, I was going to say good safe passing, and then it nearly broke down, but they've been very careful, not running into trouble, not taking it into the tackle, and nice and composed play and keeping possession and drawing St Mary's out. And this is smart play. Isa McCarran to Napier again, being followed by Emma McVeigh, so it wasn't Emma who went off. Get it across to McNichol. It's good play by her. Under pressure though, they get it back. And what's the referee given? He's got the arm out one way, but it must be a free to St Pat's Knock, and it is. And Isa McCarran will leave it. There's another substitution being made, or is it the other girl coming back on? It's hard to say or see. Just off camera, she's coming into the shot now. There she is. So maybe that's the substitution. I'll have to see the number. Yeah, that is a substitution. There's somebody going off. Haven't seen the numbers go up yet, but I'll tell you as soon as I can. And no, it's quite dark, even though the lights are on here. In some parts it's very hard to see, as I say, the white on that. No, can't tell you for certain. Might have been 12 going off. No, it wouldn't be 12. Might be 15, might be Leah Loughran. Anyway, back to the play, and a chance here for St Mary's, or St Pat's Knock rather. And that's Grace Guest, blocked down. If they can get a score here, it's nearly worth double score. Into the conditions here, as I say. Isa McCarran just waiting all the time to be available. And is available again. That's good play by Holly Donnelly, getting it across, and they're just going across the field, and St Mary's trying to steal it away. That's good strong play, but she's been bottled up in there, and for once she does carry it in. And then what's the decision? It's a free, and I think for St Pat's Knock this is a good spell. It's up the end, but they want to have the ball on, and they've got this as well now. It's a big ask for this to go over the bar from there. but it's eaten up time as well. In fact, she's going to leave it. Evie McHugh is over the ball, but then she leaves it as well. And they leave it to Grace Guest, and again, intelligent play. She knew she wasn't going to get a score from there, so they try and work it in, and the shot comes in from McNichol. Oh, and that could have bounced anywhere, but bounces wide. But it's just given St Mary's something to think about. The onslaught has not come yet. 2-3-4, and St Mary's still without a score from play. But you feel that there's more in them. You feel that there is going to be a goal, and there's going to be some sort of revival from them. But at the minute, they're just trying to get out of their own half, and McHugh is there. Super play by her, and it is very noticeable that the Carryduff girls, who've won 3 Ulster minor clubs in a row, the last being in December, are very, very prevalent in this team, and they do reflect the way that Carryduff won that title in December. The same players are to the fore, popping up at the right time, and very intelligent play. The likes of McCarran. This now is Grace Guest. She's from Breda. Got the first goal. How important could that turn out to be? Napier now. And they get it across, and surely that's a free in it. Of course it is, but she's managed to put it over the bar. Has she? No, it's gone to the right and it's gone wide, but it will be a free in, and in a good position. They're getting closer and closer all of the time, and that was Holly Donnelly. Despite somebody hanging off her, she still got her kick away, and they're going to get a free in, and this is a great chance for Knock to get a score. They're first of the second half. Great bit of pressure and composed play as well. Doesn't get the power on it though, and it's going to be a free out. Square ball, I think, is the decision there. They get it again though, and what's the decision on that one? It's like a free in, is it? Let's have a look at the replay. Actually, to be honest, I was looking away for a second, and that happened very quickly. It was a tough challenge went in there by the fullback O'Kane. And it's a free in, and a succession of frees now the other way. I was saying in the first half there were a lot of frees for St Mary's. Now it's St Pat's knock. That's a tricky one, and as it ended up on the net, I think it might just have dropped onto the crossbar into the net, and it is another goal. It's a third goal for Our Lady and St Pat's knock, and that could be crucial. She just dropped it in there. Maybe it was hit and hope, and the goalkeeper, I think, was unsighted. That could turn out to be the crucial score in this game. They've got it again, Our Lady and St Pat's knock, and they're coming looking for another score. And it's Hannah Casson leaving it forward to Guest. Oh, and Guest tries to pop it through, but it's a little bit too tight there, and St Mary's get it. Well, Knock have got 3 goals at key times in the game. 2 in the first half in a few minutes. And although I keep anticipating a St Mary's purple patch, you're now starting to wonder, is it going to come? That goal might just have rocked them back. Still a long time to go, 15 minutes, and there'll definitely be a good bit of added time to that. Just over to the left of the camera, there's one player down, and over to the left there's another one down, getting treated, I think, for cramp. There you see in the shot now. So another hold up in the play here, which means that St Mary's just can't get any momentum going in their play at all, partly because of the stoppages, and also because St Pat's Knock have just been formidable opponents tonight, and they've really applied themselves well. I mentioned the number 16 I thought was in, and I wanted to check that for St Pat's Knock, and she is in the play. You see her in the shot there, number 16. That is Cara McDermott, birthday girl today from the Breda club. St Mary's get it again though, and they're so anxious to get up the field. But again, look at that for superb play again by Evie McHugh. She's just everywhere. She's always in the right place at the right time to gobble up the break ball. Such an intelligent footballer. And it's still the girls in white. But that is a bit of a loose one, and St Mary's get it, and they go forward with purpose, but they're met with a strong challenge. Oh, and the free's gone the other way. It's gone to St Pat's Knock, so she must have led with her arm and went into the player. Well, as I said at the start, and if you are only joining us, it needs to be said again, these are the old rules. They're not playing with the new rules that have been brought in for the National League and for the O'Connor Cup. So a different kind of game tonight. It hasn't had the flow, and also because of the conditions. Now, they have got it again, St Mary's. Now they want to break. And a hand went in, and that was a foul, and well spotted by the referee. Just so many stoppages that we didn't see on Sunday in the National League game down in Fermanagh. The game had so much flow and a lot of physicality to it that definitely wouldn't have been allowed before. Leah Stewart tries to get her team going and gives it to her midfielder Scullion. The ball booted down the line, but great defending. Super defending once again. And she'd been out of the play down that area for a long time, but still was alive to it and got out in front. And this has been a great last 6 or 7 minutes, it has to be said, by St Pat's Knock. They've really stuck to their task really, really well. Trying to see who it was for you, who went out and got that ball a minute ago. Might be Dara Cotter again. Do you remember? Was it her who made that great block in the first half too? So a free anyway for St Pat's Knock. And in fact, the player who made that tackle I was telling you about, she's now been treated for cramp as well. She just jogged back to her position and seemed to pull up a little bit. It shows you maybe the difficulty in the conditions and in the occasion tonight. She'll be okay, I'm sure, to continue. And we will continue now. It's been a very stop-start second half, which really suits the team in the lead. Napier again as they get it out now to Casson. This is Heffron. And over carrying and an opportunity. And every time this happens, St Mary's supporters raise the roof and the players look to move it as quickly as possible, but they just can't get up the field. If they put it long, it doesn't work. If they go short, they don't get running with it. It's been so difficult. And there's McCarron again with another superb tackle. She just breaks up play all day long, doesn't let them run, and it was a good disciplined challenge to get the hand in. Now, this is the sub that I was telling you about, number 31, and again, she's been penalised. No, she's not. It's gone the other way. Sorry, it's hard to tell, especially with these old rules, new rules. And again, the referee, yeah, it's different. You can't put your hand up like you do if you're playing, say, under the new rules for anybody else. It's different. She looks to take it quickly, but it's all very congested. Stewart tries to get on it, but again, it's McCarron, I think, who gets in there. And they've just, not maybe one player, but they've just all got together and got in and around, and they have worked so hard around the middle of the field. Our Lady and St Pat's, and now a chance. The birthday girl shoots. She puts it across the goal. It might have ended up being a good pass, but the goalkeeper has it. Emily Higgins from Desert Martin looking to get it up the field, but they run into trouble and not get it back. And I think it's Napier for them, and they get a free. They're just winning all of their battles, St Pat's Knock, and they're just keeping St Mary's at bay. I mean, how long has it been since St Mary's have even got near the goal at the other end? And the clock continues to tick. We're now in the last 10. Substitution being made, and number 4 goes off, and I think that's the girl I was telling you about who had the problem a minute ago, Cotter. So they've acted quickly to make that change, and it is, yes, she's gone off. Another player for them is warming up. Trying to see who went on to give you her name, but I can't see her number at the minute. So we'll follow on with the play, and again, intelligent not to go for the shot. Just keep possession. Now the shot comes in, and it's a dangerous one across, but well fielded for St Mary's. I think it might have been, was it 10 back there, which would be Forbes, I'm not sure. But again, they get it, and they can't make progress. Halted as they try to go. It's Shivers, held up by Hanvey, I think it was on that occasion, but it's more, as I say, the team effort. St Mary's again trying to find another way through. They get past one, but then there's always another. Now a little bit of daylight for them. McCarron stands in the way, and again, that's the old rules. You can stand there, but she didn't put her arms out, she put her hands up, and under the new rules you can do that. Let's have another look at it again to see if I read that one right. She just stood in the way, and it's a free for St Mary's. But free or not, it means that the play didn't develop and not able to flow as they would like it to do so. And again, held up by just some very stubborn defending there by Orla Hughes, doing really well. But now they get in behind a little bit. This is Shivers, but goes to ground. Referee says no free, so they continue, and Leah Stewart tries for her own score. But again, the numbers that they get in and around there, the girls in white, really, really impressive. And they just put the pressure on, didn't foul, and forced the wide ball. And it really is quite remarkable that in the second half now of 22 minutes, that St Mary's have only scored once, and that from a free. Substitution for the girls in white, and I think it looks like, well, I was going to say 10 for 9, that wouldn't make sense. 10's going off and 19 is coming on, that makes sense. 19 for Our Lady and St Pat's Knock is Florence O'Brien. So the fourth St Bridget's player is now on the field. And that's well taken by Ella Rafferty for St Mary's. Forced to go down into the corner and comes back in to play it in, but look at the amount of white jerseys there. And two of them going for the ball, and of course it's McCarran. The work rate just unbelievable. St Mary's haven't been able to get through the entire game really. Maybe in the first few minutes they had a few chances, but they have not had a clear sight. There's just always so many players coming in and around them. They cannot get a fluid attacking move. Maybe now though, maybe, and this is a better ball. Just when I was saying they couldn't do it, maybe they can, but just at the vital moment the ball slips away. Is it going to be a free in? The way the referee's going in, it's a penalty. I think he's given a penalty, and this is quite a break. Let's look at it again. It is the break that St Mary's needed, and yeah, it was that challenge coming in there at the end, and it's a penalty, a lifeline now for St Mary's. They trail by 8, 7 minutes to go. They haven't scored from play in the entire game. And it's the number 17, the Northern Ireland soccer player from Rossa Club in Magherafelt, Ava Hurl. She's up against Erin Boyle and sends her the wrong way, and maybe this game isn't over. Ava Hurl hurls the Derry girls back into this MFC 2026 Ulster Under 20A final. It's not over yet. 6 to go. The noise levels go up. They need to win this one and keep it in. They do. Good work by Emma McVeigh, who's had a terrific game, and she speeds away from two players. Now the girls in blue are motoring. They play it very tight quarters there, and they run into a lot of white jerseys again. Look at that for tackling again. And of course it's McCarran winning it, stopping the attack and getting the free out. She's been doing that all day long. What a warrior she is. And just at a time when Magherafelt were starting to get a bit of momentum, McCarran kills it and gets the ball again. Always available at the base of the move to Casson. That's Napier, the carried off contingent. Casson again. Ahead of her is McCasson. Instead, she goes her own way, but breaks down, and it's won back by Aoife Doherty. And Aoife looks to move it as quickly as possible, but there's no solo and go. And the referee will tick, but that of course suits St Pat's Knock. They've done their job to stop the attack from flowing. So they try again with Shivers. This is good from her, but there's just another white jersey always waiting to come out, and yet another free. Well, thank goodness for the new rules, that's all I can say, because tonight, yes, the conditions have been poor, but I just feel it would be a completely different game if it was under the new rules. And although you have to admire the defensive work, it's been a very stop-start sort of a game. And I've seen so many great examples of attacking play the last few weeks under the new rules, and lots of goals. A race for possession, and it's one for St Mary's, but again it's just stop-start stuff, and the referee in fact is going to hop it. So 5 in it. Now let's talk about player of the match. I've been asked to consider who's going to get player of the match. You can put in names on the live chat there if you feel the need, or if you've got a name in mind. This is Rafferty, the two subs combining, Hurlin, Rafferty, and now McVeigh for St Mary's. They need another goal, and they're going to need it pretty quickly. 3.5 to go, and then added time, which could be 3-4 minutes. So there is time, but they're going to need one. They're just skirting around the edges. A point will do if they can get it, and that's their first point of the game from play. And a good time to get it. It was good play again by the centre half back, Shivers, and a good finish as well. That's the way to do it. 4 in it. And now the St Mary's crowd finding their voice and singing over in the stand on the far side. They'd love another goal here, but brilliantly taken from the kick out. That's super play, and what a ball as well to get it up, but St Mary's get it back. It's one-way traffic at the minute. St Mary's will keep coming and coming. This is super play, but she's not really going anywhere. Has to come back. And they are forced to go back. The great catch on the kick out, by the way, was by Grace Guest. The attack breaks down once more, but a foul, so a free for St Mary's. And she goes down, which gives me a chance to check on the live chat and to think about player of the match. Fionn says love from New Zealand. Are you really watching all the way from over there? There's player of the match contender from Aisling. She says Emma McVeigh for St Mary's. Absolutely. Great performance by her, but don't know if it can go to the losing team. It would need to be really outstanding. And for St Pat's Knock, well, my first thought is Issa McCarran. It'll be hard to go past her. There's a lot of good players there who've done well tonight, in particular Niamh Napier, Hannah Casson, and the half-back line have been terrific as well, and Lara McNichol, and Grace Guest, of course, who got the first goal, and Evie McHugh. My goodness, how are we going to pick one from all of that? There's another one, Emma McVeigh, another vote for her. But as I say, I'm thinking Issa McCarran, closely followed by Evie McHugh. But we've a few minutes to make up our minds. Another hold up in place, so we might actually have more than a few minutes, because there'll be quite a bit added on. Back with the play. Rafferty, that's a good ball. And it's hurled. Those two substitutes combining again, and soccer style, she keeps it in play and tries to get along the line, but it's just too tight and too congested in there. Good work to try and get it back, but is it a foul? I think it is. It's going to be a free out. We're now in the last 40 seconds of normal time. St Pat's Knock trying to build slowly through the hands, and now a kick pass from the back. That's really good play, and this is Guest. Strong play from Guest. 2 of them after, 3 of them after. They can't stop her. Oh, another over-carrying decision. A few boos for that one, but Leo has been consistent on that all night. The crowd really getting into this in the last few minutes. What about a grandstand finish? St Mary's still playing with plenty of energy, but that's going to be a free because she went into the player, Scullion, and left her player on the ground. She had the ball, but she followed through into the player coming to her, and that is respite, relief at just the right time for St Pat's Knock now in added time. The play goes on because it's not a head injury. I reckon we could have maybe 4 minutes extra, and there's 4 points in it, and more importantly, Knock have the ball. This would be a famous historic win for them, of course, in their first final. They must have come in as underdogs, but they have really dominated apart from the first 5-10 minutes of the game. And they deserve to be in the lead. And look at the way they're putting the ball around now. Guest taking responsibility and showing great leadership and getting it to Casson, and Casson driving through, and then the support from McCarron, and McCarron goes for the shot and puts it wide, but at the minute a wide is nearly as good as a point. It's 3-3 to 1-5. 12 plays 8. The kick out from Higgins. She looks to see where she can go. Gives it towards McVeigh, who a few of you have mentioned for player of the match, but the ball's going to win there. She tries desperately to slide and keep the ball in. They needed that ball, but they just haven't been able to get it together, partly because of the opposition and partly because it's just been a tough night for good football. That's Casson giving it in, a strong play by Evie McHugh. Brilliant play by Evie McHugh. They're under pressure and she's still going. She's taking them on. She goes past another one. Amazing play, and she gets her free as well. That was inspirational from McHugh. Well, they've just stepped it up again when they needed to. Our Lady and St. Pat's knock. And it was just after the goal and then a point, and the leaders in the team got stuck in, and they have dominated play the last 3 or 4 minutes. They've killed and silenced the crowd. Excuse me for being quiet there, but I was just looking at your chat to see if there was any contenders. And meantime, St. Pat's not go on and get another decision. It's another free for them, and McCarron is looking to come forward to take it, is she? No, she's come forward to have a word with Evie McHugh, who needs a little bit of treatment for cramp. I think you see them right down there in the left corner of the screen. Well, what warriors and battlers they are, and great credit to their clubs, and carried off, as I say. These girls have won 3 Ulster minor clubs in a row. That's just gone the wrong side of the post. And here they are tonight. You know, the clubs have produced these players along with the schools, and they have, as I say, replicated almost the Ulster minor final performance in December, and indeed the previous 2 years with Carryduff. Allied with their South Belfast neighbours from Breda and St. Bridget's, they have produced a formidable team here, and it's a new era, possibly, for ladies football at this level. We've been so used to Monaghan and Cavan, and now it's Belfast. Fantastic to see. I don't think there's been a Belfast winner at McCrory Cup level for more than a generation, but now at ladies football level it looks like we're going to have the equivalent. Now number 2 is going off. That's Ailish McElroy for St. Mary's Magherafelt. They brought on a sub, and it looks like number 30, and that would be Ellen Cullen from Ballinderry Shamrocks. And I'm looking off camera here to see what St. Pat's knock are doing, and they have a +1 at the back, so they know they need to keep out the goals for the last couple of minutes here. The wind is howling around here, our fingers are frozen, and the rain coming into the lens, but apart from all that, we're loving it. It's great fun to be here. There's the penalty that brought a bit of hope for St. Mary's. Now that kick might clear all of these players, and it does, and it goes through to Emma McVeigh. Is there time? 5 minutes in the added time. Off the shoulder, a good run by the midfielder Aoife Rock. St. Mary's needs something. They need it quick. They're 4 down. A goal here would really make it interesting. Gemma Shivers in there. That's a tricky one for the keeper. Oh, and it might end up in the net. It doesn't. Oh, it was so close. What's the referee going to decide? He's not giving another penalty, is he? No, he's not. But he is going in to talk. It was one of those ones that happened for the 3rd goal for St. Pat's knock, that the keeper might have been unsighted, and it dropped at her feet and then could easily have spilled into the net and didn't. But then there was a push there. It looked like a push. Is it a 45 or is it a penalty? I think it's a 45. But drama at the end. Everybody getting in and around that area. It's a 45. We're now nearly in the 67th minute. The ball being taken to the right spot to be taken. Now they have a breeze advantage here, and it's Ava Hurl again, the soccer player, who's hoping to get a good connection in this and drive it in there. and it does go in there, and they all dive for it. It's picked up. Can she get a boot? And this is a lot of white jerseys in there. Remember, under the old rules, you can have as many players as you want back there, and they have as many as they want. Might still come in. There's the point. Yep, that's the point for St Mary's Magherafelt. Gemma Shivers, the captain last year. They lost in the final last year. Now they brought it back to a goal. Oh, it's drama. 67th minute of the game. Is there time? Can St Mary's rescue this with a dramatic late goal? Aaron Boyle with the kick out. The referee says get on with it. How much time is he going to allow? Well, he lets the play go on. This is crucial. Who's going to win it in there? It's a girl in blue. Of course, it's Emma McVeigh. What a game she has had for her school. The girl from Ballinderry Shamrocks has been unbelievable. So that means there's still a chance. It's the other Shivers, and now it's Aoife Doherty. St Mary's trying again, and it's Gemma Shivers. They just need to put it in there. I don't know they'll be able to work it in there because the girls in white have a wall in there and they've won it back. They have won it back. Interference that we are getting. I think the rain is getting into our leads. Back to the goalkeeper. The referee, Leo Dugan, they've got it back, St Mary's. It could be a dramatic goal right at the end here if they can get in. They don't, and once again the resistance is supreme from St Pat's Knock. They still play on. Off we go. I think that must be McHugh. An outstanding performance, and she's foiled, and that will do very, very nicely for St Pat's Knock. What a game she has had. Evie McHugh, exceptional play. Number 13, but all over the field. And she's making the decision for player of the match very, very difficult. I'm talking to myself here, don't worry, that happens sometimes. St Pat's Knock have it. Let's follow the play here right at the end. The crowd don't like it. Well, half of the crowd don't like it. Well, I thought there'd be 4 or 5 minutes. We've ended up now with nearly 9. Another free. And it's gone to Knock. Well, excuse the pun, but St Pat's are knocking on the door here of victory in the MFC Under-28 final. We're surely in the last few seconds. Knock are definitely close. Well, they have FW on their jerseys in memory of the great inspirational Frankie Wilson. And you just feel his presence is still here with these girls. He was a teacher there for so many years. He would love to see this moment because Our Lady and St Pat's Knock are just about to become Ulster champions. They are 3 up, and even though we're in the 70th minute, we've played so much in this game, you just feel that they're going to get over the line because they're owning the ball. They've played so intelligently all night, and they still have it, and play still goes on. Wow, we're coming up on the 10-minute mark of added time. I haven't seen this long in a long time. The referee looks at one watch, but it's only a brief glance. He lets the play go on. 2 of the best players on the field battle for it. McVeigh and McCarran. McCarran wins it and gets a decision. We could be here all night. Actually, it's a free the other way. He's given it to St Mary's. We're now in the 71st minute. The referee takes another look. This is the last chance for St Mary's. They go short. Their midfielder has it, rocks. Darcy Conway gives it back, but they've got it. It's over. They've won it. History for the Belfast schools. The 3 clubs, Breda, Carried-up, St Bridget's. They've won Ulster minor club titles. Now they've burst onto the scene at the A level in MFC Ulster schools, and they have won this final at the first time of asking. There's Catherine McGordy. She's enjoying it more than the girls. She is the teacher in the school who brought football on so much with the great late Frankie Wilson. What a moment for Catherine, and she would love if Frankie was here tonight, and he is in spirit. What a night for the school, what an achievement to win this final, eventually in difficult conditions. It's a breakthrough night. It's a wonderful night for the school. It's a wonderful night for Ulster schools. What credit they deserve. And look at the hugs and the delight there on the pitch here at the Dub Arena. It's been a famous, famous night. And you feel for St Mary's Magherafelt. Their players have gone down all over the pitch. They've lost for the second year in a row in the final, so you feel for them. But there's a lovely shot just down below us here where Grace Guest is going over to Eva Hurl and giving her a hug down in front of us, and she is thinking of the losing team, and obviously they are friends. And there's a hug as well for Catherine, and I think that might be Conor McCauley or one of the managers from the other school, and he was in that other school. No, it's not him actually, he's still in that group, apologies. But there are certainly celebrations going on, and then we'll have the cup awarded to the winning captain, Asa McCarran, over on the far side. So we're going to have to make a decision for player of the match. I'm just looking to see if you said anything here. Did anybody want to swing it for me at the last minute? No, I'm going to have to call this. So am I going Asa or am I going Eva? I think I'm going Asa. Evie was fantastic, but Asa, I think, wins it, as she did in the last two Ulster minor club finals. They're doing a selfie there as well. How did they get a phone out there? Did they have it down the sock, or did they nick Catherine's there? I'm not quite sure. But great credit to everybody in there, and I see Colin in there as well. Colin Murray from Ulster Ladies and from Breda. So he'll know a lot of these girls. Isn't that a lovely shot? Be nicer with a cup in it. Well, what excitement here, and what drama. And there's Leah Stewart, the losing captain with Aoife Roxon. They're so disconsolate, but they should be proud of themselves, the way that they have played here and taken this game in difficult conditions to St Pat's Knock in the second half, and they tried to put up a grandstand finish, and they were close, but they just came up a team here that was so well drilled from their clubs over the years. And you know, it has been coming when you think about it, the Belfast schools with all those minor titles as well in the clubs, and they've tapped into that, and they've done great work in the schools as well. And a word for the principal at Our Lady and St Patrick's Knock as well, Deborah McLaughlin, who has been very supportive of the teams and the girls, and they get their reward tonight. It goes all the way back, in fact, to around 2002-03, when there was no ladies football in the school at all. And they went to the principal, and he said, well, you need some teacher to volunteer to help, and that was Lisa McCluskey. And they got going, and then the likes of Catherine and Frankie Wilson got it going. In 2018 they were in the B final version of this, and they won that. And who did they beat? They beat Magherafelt, and they kept going, and here they are tonight. They've won the big one, the McCrory Cup version in ladies football, and they are now going over to get the cup. And we have to spare a thought, as I say, for St Mary's. They're out in the middle, the umbrellas are over them, they're hugging over there, they've got their arms around each other, second year in a row, and you feel for them and their management. You come up here with big hopes. 2 finals in a row, though, is a fantastic achievement too, just to be in them. And when you consider that Magherafelt were competing in C level 10 years ago, that is a terrific achievement. Now the players stand out on the pitch here, so the presentation must be on the pitch, and it's going to be made by the new LGFA Ulster President, Eileen Jones-Hardy. Her first under her new tenure as President. I can hear, but I can't make out exactly very clearly what she's saying, but I'll try and pick it up.
350 teams play football, and 45 competitions. And tonight was our shining light at the end of our under-20 season. And we couldn't have asked for 2 better teams to show our skills here tonight. So kind of a round of applause for both teams. Can I thank, first of all, the managers of both sets of players, The dedication and commitment that they've shown throughout the season to their schools, to their teams, probably at more than one level, and to especially to this girls is something that I suppose brings the community together, and it is something that we are very, very thankful for. So a round of applause for all managers. To St Mary's, as I said earlier, you don't need to sit to the end of your seats the last 2 minutes. You've had a great journey, and girls, sometimes what hurts makes you better and stronger, and I believe that you, as you go through your lives, will find that this hurt will be a better player in the future. To our ladies in St Patrick's College Lock, many congratulations. You were able to hold out, withstand that pressure, and again you should be very, very proud of what you've done. Before we hand over the awards, first of all, thank our officials for tonight, our referee, lines people, fourth official and umpires. It's hard sometimes to get all the positions filled, but no matter when we ask, they always deliver, and I'd like to thank them for that. To Queen's University for their facilities, unfortunately it got rained off earlier in the week, and we want to thank them for their efforts at making sure this was able to be played again tonight. So thank you to Queen's. Within Ulster, we have two people that I suppose really oversee all of our fixtures, to Hannah and Ronan. Very often Hannah goes out as a one-band woman to oversee our games and our finals, and her commitment at all times is just amazing. And Ronan, our administrator for all the work he does, to also executive and fixtures committee, for the support that they give and for attending matches and helping to organise. I'd really like to thank you for that. There's one week going tonight. I think it's not very often we have your 18th birthday, and also finally on the one night. So, Cara McDermott, congratulations on your 18th. So just before we hand over the trophy, we want to present the Player of the Match Award, and I think for any of us watching the game, it will be no surprise who has received it. She's certainly somebody that is led by example, and she's led her team again tonight, and I would like to offer the Player of the Match Award to Isa McCarran. Isa, it's a great honour. Oh, sorry, can I also thank MFC for their sponsorship of the Player of the Match, and again for their sponsorship throughout the year for us. They're definitely one of our brands that we're very, very proud to be joined with, and we thank them for everything. Isa? Congratulations.
Well, I think all that means that Isa McCarran has been presented. Now, I can't see her. Is she up in the stand even? I honestly, maybe they brought her up there. Well, she's handy because she's getting the cup and the Player of the Match awards. I honestly can't see where they are. I can hear them, but I can't see them. Oh, there we go. There she is. And maybe we'll try and pick up what she's saying.
I'd also like to thank the officials for giving us more time and keeping us fair. Thank you, bogies.
Thank you as well to MFC for backing this event and to our sports minister for their continued support with it being hit or socks. To St Mary's, last night, you made a good game to watch and you never gave it to us easy. I want to say a massive thank you to our coaches, Miss McCoy and Miss Leary. The support you give us for the years that we've been with you, you've shaped us as players and for the future. We We'd also like to thank Mr. Dias. Our very amazing addition to our team, which finally helped us get this cup across the line. A special mention to Mr. Tuskey, who started Girls Gaelic all those years ago and made all of this possible for us today. We would also like to acknowledge the lasting impact of Mr. Wilson, our former PE teacher who was the life and soul of PE. He came us from the start and his support was hugely appreciated for us and the team. Today we are enjoying him hard, knowing he will be watching and sharing songs from above. Finally, the biggest thank you goes to the girls who are here for our right now. But you have made it all through this year. The tough training and even using singing. The mix of ages and friendships only brought us a tighter girls team together. But I'm excited that we get to keep going with lots of chit-chat. I don't know if they're still having a good dance, but they're going to have to get used to it.
Well, that's about it. We're not going to hang around here because it's such a miserable night, but not a miserable night for the school. And I know it's meant that we've had a maybe a bigger audience than usual online. Over 800 devices I noticed towards the finish there. So that's been fantastic to showcase these skills, but not just the skills, the effort, the application, the commitment of both sets of girls here tonight. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think we need to just stay on for a couple of seconds to see Isa, there she is, bring the cup back to her players. And she gave a great speech there. I don't know if you picked it all up, but she is running now to join her teammates, and there is the magic moment. Champions for 2025-2026 MFC Ulster under 20A champions from Belfast, would you believe? No harm to Monaghan and Cavan, but that monopoly has been broken. I wonder, will it continue? Will they've won at other levels? And they've won the big one tonight, the McCrory Cup version. It's our congratulations to them and to their clubs and to their families. Well done to them. And that's about it from the Dub Arena. We gotta go, it's too cold. It's been a tough one, but a fun one. From us all, it's good evening.